Number 7. Oracle chicken divination. Let's say you're unsure about a big decision, changing jobs, moving cities, breaking up with your lizard-obsessed boyfriend. Naturally, you consult a chicken. That's haruspicy, the ancient practice of reading the future in animal guts, especially livers. Yes, people used to sacrifice animals and then analyze their internal organs like psychic sushi chefs. If the liver looked healthy, good omens. If it looked weird, doom, obviously. The Etruscans, Babylonians, and Romans were all in on this. Even military decisions were made based on what some unfortunate goat's spleen looked like. Because nothing says tactical strategy like squinting at organ wrinkles, and shockingly, this hasn't totally vanished. In some rural areas and modern fringe religions, animal-based divination still crops up. It's just sneakier now. Chickens might be used to predict outcomes in rituals or ceremonies, often combined with astrology, dreams, or the occasional coconut toss. Also, in parts of Asia and Africa, traditional fortune telling sometimes involves interpreting animal behavior, like watching a chicken peck at options to make choices. It's the poultry version of a magic 8-ball. Sure, today we've got algorithms, AI, and data science, but sometimes people still prefer farm-fresh prophecy. Because let's face it, when life gets chaotic, consulting a chicken just feels right. At least it's cheaper than therapy. Number 6. Tooth worms, the OG cavity blame game. Ever had a toothache and thought, this feels like a worm is burrowing into my molar? No. Well, congrats on not living in the Middle Ages. Back in the day, and we mean all the days, from ancient Mesopotamia to 18th century Europe, people believed cavities and toothaches were caused by tiny evil worms living inside your teeth, just wriggling around in there, renting molar space rent-free. You'd think this was a short-lived idea. But no, the tooth worm theory survived for thousands of years, despite having zero actual worms to show for it. People were so convinced, they developed cures that involved smoking them out literally, burning herbs near the tooth, or applying weird paste to coax the worm into leaving. It was like an exorcism but for your bicuspids. And while we've since discovered that, shocker, bacteria, not worms. 'Cause tooth decay, the spirit of the tooth worm lives on. How? In the form of miracle cavity products that suck out toxins. TikTok clove oil gurus who claim their remedies will kill the pain instantly, and online forums where dental science goes to die. Also, there are people who still believe cavities can be reversed entirely through energy healing, moon water, or tooth meditations. So while the literal worm theory is gone, the metaphorical one, alive and squirming, because why go to the dentist when you can just spiritually negotiate with your enamel? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. It means a lot to me. Number 5. Self-flagellation. The pain is the point. Imagine you had a bad day. You messed up at work, skipped the gym, and ghosted your group chat again. Naturally, the solution is to grab a whip and punish yourself. Welcome to self-flagellation, the ancient habit of smacking your own back in the name of spiritual purity. This practice goes way back. Think medieval monks whipping themselves in dank monasteries to atone for the sins of mankind. It wasn't just personal guilt. It was a group project. Flagellation parades happened during plagues, wars, or general existential dread, because nothing says, please spare us, like synchronized self-harm. While it might seem like one of those historical oddities we left behind with chamber pots and powdered wigs, self-flagellation is still practiced today. Certain religious sects, notably in parts of the Philippines, India, and the Middle East, engage in ritual flagellation as a form of devotion or mourning. Some do it in public during holy days, others in private out of tradition or penance. Psychologists say it taps into a very human belief, that suffering cleanses, that pain has meaning, that if you hurt yourself just enough, maybe you'll be forgiven, rewarded, or enlightened. Modern spin-offs. Intense fitness challenges where people need to suffer. Ultra-marathons, ice baths, masochistic diets, all with a side of no pain, no gain. Self-flagellation just got brand marketing. Because deep down, we love to believe that redemption is just a few whip cracks away. Number 4. Exorcisms with a side of Yelp reviews. Your kid's acting weird, talking to walls, screaming in Latin. Maybe they're possessed by a demon, or maybe they just discovered TikTok. Either way, it's time for an exorcism. Because mental health care is so last century. Exorcisms, The dramatic showdown between holy person and unholy entity date back thousands of years. Mesopotamians, Hindus, Catholics, even ancient Chinese traditions all had their version of "get out of here, demon." Sometimes it was chanting, sometimes incense, occasionally a slap and a very stern talking to. Fast forward to modern times, and you'd think we've evolved past this. We haven't. In fact, demand for exorcisms has spiked in recent years. The Catholic Church has trained more priests, created hotlines, and yes, there are actual exorcism request forms you can find online. Rate your possession experience. 1 demon out of 5. Even outside of Christianity, spiritual cleansings are huge. From sage smudging to energy balancing to soul realignment therapy. People still cling to the idea that bad vibes, evil spirits. Spoiler, it's usually just anxiety. Or gluten, the real kicker. Some modern exorcisms include strobe lights, EDM music, or live streaming. Because if you're going to cast out Satan, you might as well go viral. And hey, if it gets grandma to stop hissing at the wallpaper, maybe it's worth a shot. Number 3. Sacred child sacrifice, now rebranded as tradition. Okay, buckle up. This one's not so funny. In ancient civilizations, we're talking Aztecs, Carthaginians, early Mesopotamians, child sacrifice was seen as the ultimate gift to the gods. Crops failing, toss a kid. Drought, another kid. War, better make it twins. These rituals weren't done with malice usually. They were acts of desperate devotion. The belief that one life could save many. It was brutal, but in their eyes necessary, like taxes but with more blood and fewer accountants. Now obviously most of the world has moved on from this. But echoes remain. There are still extremist sects and cults, rare but real, that have been caught practicing ritual sacrifice, often disguised as spiritual cleansing or offering ceremonies. They're hidden, illegal, and horrifying, and in less extreme cases, child harm is justified through tradition. Think forced child marriage, female genital mutilation, or dangerous initiation rites. Practices that may not be labeled as sacrifice, but still offer kids well-being on the altar of cultural preservation. Anthropologists walk a tightrope here, respecting belief systems while calling out abuse. Because there's a difference between honoring ancestors and reenacting their darkest chapters. So, yeah, ancient horrors don't always stay ancient. Sometimes they just put on modern clothes and wait until no one's looking. Number 2. Curse tablets and DIY doom. Let's say your neighbor's dog keeps pooping on your lawn, your boss won't stop assigning 5 p.m. meetings, and your ex is thriving. Clearly, you need a curse tablet. In ancient Greece and Rome, if you were mad at someone, you didn't just vent. You cursed them with metal and spite. Curse tablets, aka defictiones, were thin sheets of lead inscribed with hateful little messages, then folded, stabbed with nails, and buried in graves, wells, or under doorsteps. Classic behavior. The content ranged from, "May she never win at court" to, "Make him poop uncontrollably forever." No, really, some were love curses, ancient thirst traps with a vengeful twist, and others were business sabotage because passive-aggressive office politics existed in 300 BCE too. And today, we still curse people. Just a little differently. There are Etsy shops that sell hex kits, TikTok witches offering custom spellwork, YouTube tutorials on how to curse your enemies with cinnamon and rage. Welcome to the witchcraft revival. Modern curse culture is a strange hybrid. Part spiritual rebellion, part meme, part rage outlet. Whether or not you believe in the power of banana peels and moonlight, the psychological impact is real. People feel better after symbolically doing something, even if that something is whispering hexes into a mason jar. It's therapy, but with more herbs and fewer copays. So if your day's going sideways, maybe you don't need revenge. Maybe you just need a Sharpie, some foil, and a little ritual pettiness. Number 1. Cannibalistic healing, aka mummy medicine. Yes, you read that right. At one point in history, people ate mummies for health. Welcome to the final horrifying stop on this cursed carnival ride. During the 16th to 18th centuries in Europe, the Renaissance, no less, powdered mummy was sold as medicine, like an ancient Flintstones chewable, except it was literally ground up human remains stolen from Egyptian tombs. This was called mumia, and it was believed to cure everything from headaches to internal bleeding to being sad in a Victorian way. Doctors, royalty, and high society were all in on it. You could find mummy powder in apothecaries and sometimes in chocolate. Yes, someone thought to blend it with snacks. But wait, it gets weirder. People didn't stop at ancient mummies. In battlefield medicine, it was trendy to use the fat, bones, and even blood of executed criminals. The logic. The fresher the death, the stronger the life force. Think of it as a haunted version of farm to table. Today, while no one's munching on sarcophagus jerky hopefully, the idea of consuming human parts for healing hasn't entirely died. In fringe communities there are placenta smoothies, rituals involving blood drinking, and even black market trades for spiritual vitality. The science says don't. Just don't. Because if your wellness routine includes snacking on human jerky, you might have taken self-care way too far. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.